Hey guys, what's up? Alex here, back with part 5 of my beginner series for Sony Vegas Pro 11. Basically, this is a continuation of part 2 of my beginner series, which was a rendering tutorial, but a lot of people seem to be having problems with the settings I gave them, and I found a little option that I forgot to mention that was the cause of the rendering problem. So if you get anything like, for an example, you go to main concepts and you encode it, it's going to give this little error message. I found a solution to fix that, and basically just throughout this whole video I'm just going to go through the steps of rendering your video in 720p HD full screen. So just to make sure, you want to go to your project video properties and you want to make sure it's set to 1280 by 720 if you want to do 720p HD, but if you want to go higher you can go to 1080p or 1080i. And you want to copy all these settings down and make sure the pixel aspect ratio is set to 1.0 square. Or in case if you're doing 1080p, you want to select 1.3. Alright, now that you got all these settings down, you want to hit apply and OK. Now if your video isn't full screen yet and you want to adjust it so that it fits the 16:9 widescreen ratio, what you can do is right click on your video clip, go to properties, and uncheck maintain aspect ratio. Or if that doesn't work, you can go into the event pan crop option and you can basically zoom in until your clip is full screen. Alright, now what you want to do next is, once you have your final video edit on the timeline, this is just an option but it's safer this way to render, and you want to place your cursor above this line until this little icon pops up. You get it and click it and drag it. And those are going to set a loop region around your video within these yellow markers, and that way Sony Vegas knows that to only render out this section of the timeline instead of all the other videos if you do have them on the timeline. So once you have that loop region set, you want to go to File and Render As. And this time we're going to render in Main Concept AVC instead of Sony AVC, just because this is more reliable most of the times than the other codec. So again, open up the drop box menu of the Main Concept AVC, and we're going to go into the Internet HD 720p preset. Now click on Customize Template, and you want to make sure that these are basically similar to the settings of the project video properties. So since we're doing 1280p by 720 like in the video example I have, I'm going to set it to that resolution, and you want to make sure that you don't check allow source to adjust the frame rate, but just make sure to keep it the same as the video properties. And these two options, constant and variable bitrate, basically what this does, the first option, the constant, it'll keep every second of your video at a constant bitrate. So if you check this option, it's going to increase your rendering times, but not by much. And if you select this one, it'll set a limit on the bitrate, and then it'll render it in the average bitrate. So this one is faster and this one's a little slower, but I like to do constant. So we select it, you want to make sure the bitrate isn't too high over the original bitrate. So you can see the bitrate of your video just by going to your original video clip, right clicking on it, go to properties, and then go to details, and then it'll show the data rate of kilobits per second. So in this case it's 1 kilobit or 1 megabit per second. So again, if you set it around 3 or 4 times its original bitrate, the quality would be a little bit better. But if you set it higher than that, the quality isn't really going to get much better, and it's going to maximize your file size a lot. So again, you want to keep it at a variable bitrate. So for example, if I set the maximum to 16,000 bits per second, which is of course 16 megabits per second, you want to set the average around half that number or a little bit higher than that. So for an example, 10. And here's the most important part. The encode mode shouldn't be in automatic. It should be rendered using CPU only. Now, in case if you have a GPU enabled graphics card, you can select this one, but just to be on the safe side, render using CPU only. And this, of course, enable progressive download. You can check that as well. Now we're going to go into the audio, and the audio shouldn't be too important. If you want a average audio quality, you want to set it to 96, or if you want a better than average quality, you maybe want to set it to 192. Then go to system, and this is to check if you have GPU enabled. And then lastly, go to project and set the video rendering quality to best. And in case if you want to save this template, just go here, highlight it, delete it, and type in whatever name of the template you want it to be, and click on save template so you can use it next time. And click OK, and make sure render loop region only is selected, since we set a loop region around our video earlier on in the video. And lastly, click render. And then you won't get the error message anymore like you did when using my previous render settings. So that's the end of this tutorial. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please comment on it and give it a thumbs up. Again, if you have any problems with any step of this tutorial, just ask me in the comments and I'll reply to them as soon as possible. So I'll see you guys next time.